This is JMR Geography for Lesson 19, the Son of Man. And with this lesson, we had very little geography, just observing that Jesus may still be in the temple. In John 5, we will do temple geography at a later date. The lesson did mention the Son of Man, and that turned my mind to Daniel chapter 7, as well as a parallel vision in Daniel chapter 8, where Daniel imagines or Daniel sees himself in the vision in Susa in Elam. So we will be taking a little look at Babylon, a little look at Susa, and the Ulai River that flows past Susa. I'm also going to have I'm uploading a piece that I call Dated Events and Dated Oracles in Haggai, Zechariah, Daniel, Esther, and Ezra, Nehemiah during the reigns of the Achaemenid kings of Persia. And so this is a piece that we'll do a little marking in because it's going to build some history around Daniel's two visions, and it will also set Esther within the historical context of the reign of Xerxes. And so as you're reading through the PDF, you'll be instructed to mark some things. So I want to introduce you, of course, to the Persian kings, and the first one is Cyrus, and he becomes the king of Ansham and moves on from there to to establish a great empire. And shortly after he comes on the throne, Daniel's vision 7 takes place, in which we have the Son of Man vision. This is in the first year of Belshazzar, and Daniel in Babylon has the dream of the four beasts. Cyrus's campaign against Media takes place 2 years later, and in that same year, Daniel has his vision where he sees himself in Susa, which is going to become a Persian palace, and this is in the 3rd year of Belshazzar. Daniel sees the vision of the ram and the goat by the Ulai River. So I'll be stepping through, having you mark some of Cyrus's advances as he turns his kingdom into an empire, and I'll introduce you to the first 4 Persian kings, and so that will include Cyrus, Cambyses, Darius, and then on to Xerxes. And Xerxes is the Hashverosh of the biblical text, and so the book of Esther sets within the time period of Xerxes. And it'll be interesting for you to look and see the spread in date between the banquet and when Esther actually becomes the queen, and what took place in between that. And then to move on to see the rest of Esther plotted out where it fits. And that's where we end with these dated oracles. In terms of marking, I just had you write Daniel 7 beside Babylon, and I'm asking you to highlight some things that you may have already highlighted in an earlier lesson, but that will be like Babylonia, Elam, Persia, Media, as well as the capitals of each of these provinces. So Babylon, Susa, Ansham, where Cyrus starts out, his movement to Ecbatana, where he defeats the Medes. He begins to build at Pasargadae, and then Darius, while he is building at Susa and having that as his palace, he is also building Persepolis. Xerxes is still at Susa and has his palace is building at Persepolis. You'll be also moving all the way west to come to, sorry about moving the map on you, and I know the focus goes bad, but I want you to mark Media and Sardis. So that's pretty much the work for this lesson. Do know this: it has little to do with the Jesus My Rabbi study. It's more an opportunity for us to put together 2 of Daniel's visions, one at Susa, and along with Esther, the book that takes place at Susa. I did forget to mention that I'm going to have you highlight 2 rivers. So the Ulai River and the Coprates River. So these parallel each other as they run south, going by Susa. I'm having you draw a little connection between the two. There was a canal that was drawn between the two. Some think that that's the canal, and they translate it as the Ulai Canal. But Ulai can also mean river, and so I go with the Ulai River. I do that because it is mentioned in Assyrian literature, and I talk about that as Ashurbanipal, the king of Assyria and Nineveh, fought against against Elam to control this Ulai River. And so I'm thinking about putting up maybe a couple of pictures from a relief that he decorated his palace in Nineveh with. All right, Chag Sameach, as you observe Purim this week.